The sources, dietary requirements, biochemical functions, and deficiency manifestations of vitamin A. So, what are the sources of vitamin A?
Green leafy vegetables,
Oh,
papaya, and fruits, carrots.
okay, yellow and orange.
Those have carotene.
Yeah, beta carotene is the inactive form, like carotenoids, it gets converted into, right? Huh. So we have lot of vitamin A in non-vegetarian sources as well, no beta? Fish liver oil, cod liver oil, okay, liver, kidney, these are all very rich sources of vitamin A. Okay, beta? See here, animal sources contain preformed vitamin A. Best sources liver, kidney, egg yolk, milk, cheese, butter. Okay, the cod liver oil, shark liver oil, these are all very rich sources of vitamin A. This is what we use to treat like as a prophylactic measure for vitamin A deficiency disorders. So we generally, when you should have studied in SPM generally, like we have certain like programs, no, health programs, like which is given by WHO and national health programs. So in those health programs, we have all like certain prophylactic drugs. Like we have certain drug which is actually derived from fish liver oil and cod liver oil, which contains high doses of vitamin A, which is given to the children who are under below poverty line, so that they do not suffer with vitamin A deficiency disorders. Okay, so that is, so vegetable sources we have like beta carotene is the source, like it is the form which has to get converted to carotenoids. Yellow and dark green vegetables are good sources of carotenes. Carrot, spinach, amaranthus, pumpkin, mango, papaya, flowering fruits and tropical vegetables. Okay, so how much should we take in our diet? RDA, recommended daily allowance. So in case of men, it is 3,500 international units, and in case of females, it is 2,500 international units. Okay, beta. And requirement increases in children and also in growing children, pregnancy, and also lactating mothers. Then biochemical functions. So what are the various functions? But of course, we know it is concerned with vision, very, very important function. So, of course, we will talk about vision always ignoring the other functions. So, this time I will start with other functions, then go back to vision. So, see here, the functions of vitamin A are retinol and retinoic acid function almost as steroid hormones. Okay, so they regulate the protein synthesis and thus they are involved in the cell growth and differentiation. Okay, then vitamin A is essential to maintain healthy epithelial tissue. That means our skin, you see, it keeps on regenerating, isn't it? And whatever oils we use as winter oils, generally the cream or whatever cream we use, if you just look into the composition, it will definitely have vitamin A. So that means it is helpful in the synthesis of the epithelial cells. Okay, then so because retinol and retinoic acid are required to prevent keratin synthesis, which is actually responsible for like rough surface. Then we have retinyl phosphate synthesized from retinol. So retinyl phosphate is actually important for the synthesis of certain glycoproteins. Okay. So do you remember any glycoprotein? Glycosaminoglycan, nothing but beta. Heparin, dermaton sulfate, isn't it? We have
Yes,
studied
ma'am.
carbohydrate chemistry, keraton sulfate. One table is there for mucopolysaccharides, which is very, very important. Okay. Then retinol and retinoic acids are involved in the synthesis of transferrin. If you remember iron metabolism, transferrin is transport form of iron protein, isn't it? So that is, and vitamin A is considered to be essential for maintenance of proper immune system to fight against various infections, and cholesterol synthesis also requires vitamin A. Okay, so when we just look at that cholesterol cycle, we will come to know like we have mevalonate as an intermediate during the synthesis of cholesterol, so which actually requires the presence of vitamin A. So carotenoids, like that is beta carotene, which is inactive form of vitamin A, which is derived from plant source. It acts as an antioxidant. Okay, that means it is killing the free radicals like H2O2, O2 minus and everything, and it reduces the risk of cancer. Okay, beta. So these are other functions. Other than this, the normal functions what we usually study is the important function of vitamin A is it is very much important in the visual process. Okay, then like see, uh, you have to talk about this flow cycle. Apart from that, now let us see this one better. So this is actually summary of vitamin A absorption, transport and functions. Everything is given here. So whether you take vegetarian diet or non-vegetarian diet. Suppose if it is vegetarian diet, it is in the form of beta carotene. If it is non-vegetarian diet, it is retinyl esters. Okay. So this beta carotene, it enters into the intestinal cell. Okay. So beta carotene is converted to retinol, aldehyde form, then retinol, alcohol form, and then you will see free fatty acids are added to it and it forms retinyl esters. Whether it is animal source, plant source or animal source, retinyl esters also to retinol, direct source. That means much conversion is not required for animal source. Okay. Then retinyl esters, they are converted to chylomicrons, which are transport form of lipoproteins, right? So they are entering into the liver, and in the liver we know they are converted to all trans retinol and retinyl palmitate. See, basically, water soluble vitamins are not stored in the body, but fat soluble vitamins are stored. We know that. So, this storage form of vitamin A is retinyl palmitate. So, whenever that's the reason I told you in small children, we give very high dose injections to the babies so that they do not suffer with night blindness, xerophthalmia, bite out spots, isn't it? So that means vision process should not be disturbed, because of which every 6 months one high dose injection is given, or we have injections which can also withstand the storage in liver for 2 years also. Okay, so what is the form in which this vitamin A is stored? That is retinyl palmitate. Okay, then from here, suppose if our body is in need of this vitamin A, this storage form or all trans retinol form is converted to retinol. Then we have retinol to retinol binding proteins. So finally it is entering into target cell. So then see, retinol, retinoic acid, then this is nucleus. Inside the nucleus, we have mRNA. Then it leads to the formation of specific proteins and cell differentiation. So what does it mean? See here, all trans retinol and all trans retinol. This is actually Wald's visual cycle, which we separately study. So vitamin A and vitamin D, these two things, they are now considered more as hormones than vitamins, because their mode of action is more or less same like a hormone, isn't it better? So that the
Yes,
hormones
ma'am.
also, they will have nuclear receptors or cell membrane receptors or cytoplasmic receptors. From there they enter into the like cytoplasm, then they enter into the nucleus, lead to the formation of mRNA, that is transcription. Finally they lead to the formation of required protein, that is translation. So just now what you have studied under functions, retinol, all like rhodopsin, all those are proteins which are actually formed with the help of vitamin A. Like for the smooth maintenance of skin, glycoprotein, so many. Okay, that is. Then so that is after that we also have color vision. So color vision, what do we require for color vision, beta? Cones.
Uh, Cones.
Rods for generally dim vision and cones are for color vision. So in case of color vision, we have three sensitive pigments, isn't it? Porphyropsin, iodopsin and cyanopsin, okay, which are red, green and blue respectively. Here also, inside this also we have a cycle taking place which helps in the formation of like visual colors, which help in the appreciation of better colors. Now for Wald's visual cycle, we need to have this beta: rhodopsin, C11 cis retinol, it is now when suppose when light enters into our eyeball, it is now through nerve impulse, it is splitting actually into opsin and all trans retinol aldehyde form. Then it gets converted to 11 cis retinol, or it can also get converted to 11 cis retinol. And you should remember the enzymes: alcohol dehydrogenase, NADH plus and NAD, then all trans retinol to 11 cis retinol and 11 cis retinol, and finally it is regenerated. That means during this process you will see rods will be stimulated and they will be helping in the process of vision. Okay, so that's what is Wald's visual cycle. You can elaborate that. And what are the deficiency manifestations, beta? Night blindness, nyctalopia.
Nyctalopia, night blindness.
Yeah, person will not be able to see in the.
Xerophthalmia.
Yeah, xerophthalmia is a dry eye, right?
Yes.
The eyeball becomes completely dry. Yeah. Then bitot spots. So black spots appear inside the eyeball. Keratomalacia. That means what? Like your Malaysia means softening, isn't it? Osteomalacia. That means if the bones become soft, we use the word osteomalacia. Similarly, suppose the conjunctiva, sclera, that particular part of the eyeball, if they are becoming soft and they tend to just as though they are going to just get depressed inside as though they are about to form a hole, something like that. That condition you call corneal ulceration, degeneration, which is occurring in cornea, that is keratomalacia, which may lead to total blindness. Other deficiency disorders, like it may result in impaired growth also, because it helps in skeletal formation. Okay, it helps in like proper reproduction. Because of the deficiency of this, there may be infertility problems also, especially in males, because it helps in the formation of germinal epithelium in the testis. Okay, if in case of the deficiency of vitamin A, you will see the skin becomes dry, rough, scaly. Okay, keratinization may also occur in the GIT. That is very much required, no? In the GIT mucosa, the mucosal epithelial cells, that formation won't occur, and all it becomes horny, scaly. Okay, which is not good, which may lead to infections. Okay, if you find such keratinization in kidneys, it may lead to actually it may be in the GIT or urinary tract or respiratory tract. Correspondingly, that particular organs are affected. In kidneys, it may lead to the formation of stones also, urinary stones. Okay, this is all about vitamin A. Then ketone body synthesis, utilization, and note on ketoacidosis. What is the first substrate we find, beta? Ritika? See, how are ketone bodies formed? Basically?
From the fatty acids.
Okay, nice, very good. Fatty acids get mobilized, and then our body starts utilizing fatty acids as the source of energy. Isn't it, Imad?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So when does it happen? Why does it happen, and when does it happen, beta? What is the favorite
Which
source of energy of our cells?
fat?
No, beta, not fat.
Carbohydrates.
Yes, carbohydrates in the form of.
Okay. Glucose.
Excellent, very good. So cells are fond of only glucose, and it should reach the cells by means of like with the help of a hormone. What is the hormone which is carrying?
Insulin.
Insulin. Very good. So now you can guess like what are the clinical conditions where you will see ketone body formation, because normally and naturally ketone bodies in you and me, we do not have ketone body formation. Something is going wrong, then only ketone body formation. Isn't it, Ritika?
Yes, ma'am.
So can you tell me what are the disorders?
Diabetes mellitus.
Sorry, beta, I could not get the answer.
Diabetes mellitus, starvation, fasting.
Yes, very good, very good. Diabetes mellitus, starvation, fasting. So in case of diabetes mellitus, cells, poor thing, they are unable to receive glucose, though high blood glucose present in the blood, but insulin is required for the transport of glucose to the tissues, right? So because glucose is not, insulin is not there, now cells should survive somehow, isn't it? If not glucose, it will start depending upon another energy source like fatty acids. So fatty acids will start getting mobilized. As Imad said, fatty acids are now breaking down to form acetyl-CoA, leading to the formation of ketone bodies. Okay, so in case of starvation and fasting, so insulin is adequate, but thing is the person is unable to eat because food is not available, or he purposely doing fasting. So in such condition also our body fat gets mobilized, and you will see it will lead to the formation of ketone bodies. Okay, now our question is like ketogenesis and ketolysis, right? So that means formation of ketone bodies is ketogenesis and breakdown of ketone bodies is ketolysis. So now just now you have seen when the fatty acids are broken down, the first thing what you have is the formation of acetyl-CoA. So ketone bodies, name them, Imad.
Acetoacetate,
Hmm.
um, beta hydroxybutyrate,
Yes.
and acetone.
Very good. Acetone, acetoacetate, and beta hydroxybutyrate. These are the three ketone bodies we have, right? So acetyl-CoA, two acetyl-CoA molecules in the presence of beta ketothiolase, they lead to formation of acetoacetyl-CoA. Then HMG-CoA synthase, it leads to the formation of beta hydroxy, beta methyl glutaryl-CoA. So you just thoroughly learn these steps because this is repeated university exam question. You should have seen Abhinav's paper also. 100% questions what were seen in that paper are the questions what we have discussed in our classes till now, till date, isn't it, Imad and Ritika? Have you gone
Yes,
through?
ma'am.
Yeah, 100%. I give assurance whatever question papers I am discussing with you, 99.9%, and most of the times 100%, because this is COVID time, nobody will give you bouncers. 100% questions are going to appear from those papers only. So read thoroughly. I am stressing you repeatedly not to waste your time. 50%, if you enjoy, at least 50% of the time you have to spare for studies. Okay, beta. So all these steps you have to thoroughly practice. And you can see here beta hydroxy, beta methyl glutaryl CoA, nothing but HMG CoA. It leads to the formation of acetoacetate. Acetoacetate spontaneously breaks to form acetone, and in the presence of beta hydroxy butyrate, dehydrogenase forms beta hydroxy butyrate. Like that you have. Okay. So this is acetoacetate, acetone, and beta hydroxy butyrate. Okay, beta. So these are like ketone bodies. Now, after the formation of ketone bodies, now ketolysis, isn't it? That means utilization. Ketone bodies are now utilized for the formation of ATP. So here all three ketone bodies, this will be something like reverse. Starts with beta hydroxybutyrate, then it forms acetoacetate, then acetoacetyl-CoA, which finally breaks down to acetyl-CoA, acetyl-CoA. Reverse of steps of what we have studied in ketone body. Ketogenesis, reverse is ketolysis with few steps difference. Okay, you know the importance already because you told like it is occurring in starvation, diabetes, and fasting. Very good. Now what he says, now add a note on ketoacidosis. Okay. Now, what is ketoacidosis? Now, see here, you know the names of ketone bodies: acetone, acetoacetic acid, and beta hydroxybutyric acid, as you said. So, these ketone bodies, whenever they are formed excessively under these clinical conditions, their levels will rise in blood. That is ketonemia. Emia is always blood. Once it is rising in blood, it starts getting circulated in the blood circulation, and it gets filtered in the urine, and it is excreted in the urine. Okay, filtered in the kidney and excreted in the urine. If you find ketone bodies in urine, you call it as ketonuria. So we have ketonemia and ketonuria. Together you call it as ketoacidosis. Generally, this condition we see in diabetes. That's the reason we call it as diabetic ketoacidosis. Okay, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
So, and suppose if ketone bodies are rising in blood, even the ketone bodies are exhaled in our breath outside. So you call it as
Yes, ma'am.
acetone.
Kussmaul's breathing.
Yeah. Then so fatty acids, now fatty acids. Now this is all flowchart what we have. Summary of ketone body: synthesis, utilization, and excretion. Okay, you can see this is synthesis and this is excretion. Okay, and extrahepatic tissues also. You, as you said, fatty acids are now being broken down in the skeletal muscle. Also, you are seeing the formation of ketone bodies. That acetyl CoA, which is formed in ketolysis, as you have just seen. The last thing is acetyl CoA, which enters into citric acid cycle. That is cycle to give energy ATP with the loss of 2 carbon dioxide molecules. So this is all about ketone bodies. Ketone body synthesis, utilization, and ketoacidosis. Okay. Next question is lactose intolerance. Check where is it and please try to answer. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Page number 170, I think.
How much? What is the page, beta?
170.
Ritika, what's your page number, beta? Because our pages are same, right?
It will be 1-2 pages up or down, ma'am, in your book.
Acha. You said 173, right?
Yeah, 170.
170. Okay. Lactose intolerance 170. Okay. But because now we are in isoenzymes topic, should I first take that answer, beta?
Oh, okay, ma'am, no problem.
Okay. See, what are isoenzymes? See, isoenzymes are, see here, physically they are different. To look at the enzymes, they do not look alike, but they do like catalysis. They convert the same chemical reaction. They work on same chemical reaction. That's what are called as isozymes or isoenzymes. For example, we have lactate dehydrogenase. How many? See here, 5 different forms of lactate dehydrogenase. Physically different. To look at them, they are different, but they conduct the same reaction. Okay, for example, lactic acid is converted to pyruvic acid in the presence of lactate dehydrogenase. Region wise, suppose in heart it may be LDH1, in kidney it is LDH, something like that. Region wise their name differs, but basically they do same chemical reaction. Multiple forms of enzyme catalyzing the same reaction are isoenzymes or isozymes. Okay, now for example, if you just, I want everybody, both of you, to learn thoroughly this picture. Beta, in this table you have LDH 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, in the subunits we have in LDHR. See, these are 4 boxes you are finding. LDH 1, 2, 3, 4. See, H4 in the sense you have, this is present in heart and RBC. Okay, and electrophoretic mobility is, it is fastest. Whether destroyed by heat? No. How much do we have in the serum? 25%. Okay, so like that, if you just see, all these will be 100% if you make a grand total of it. So that is the composition. Where do we have? See, LDH1 heart and RBC2 heart and RBC again, but it has 3 boxes, that is H3, and 1 circle, that is M. Something like that. Like structure is different, the place where they are present is different, the speed with which they are moving during electrophoresis is different, from fastest to slowest. Whether they are destroyed by heat or not, you can compare. Now, see, this is the electrophoretic mobility which has been recorded on a filter paper. Okay, and you are finding 5 LDH isoenzymes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, when you see, this is the normal graph, the speed with which they got deposited on the filter paper. CA shows normal. So, this is LDH1, this is LDH2, 3, 4, 5. 1 to except 2, almost the like peak of all the lactate dehydrogenase enzymes are similar, whereas 2 is little higher, right? Now coming to this disease, beta, what is this? Myocardial infarction, that means heart attack. See, generally, if the patient is suffering with heart attack, we take their blood sample and also look for serum enzymes. Because just now you have seen LDH1 and 2 are present in heart, their levels will rise in the blood, isn't it? That is, electrophoretic mobility also increases. The last, that is in liver disorders, you will see, because LDH5 is present in skeletal muscle and liver, LDH5 rises in case of liver diseases. Okay, this is electrophoretic mobility. One example you can give LDH1. Second simple example you can give is creatine phosphokinase. Okay, so basically creatine phosphokinase converts phosphocreatine to creatine. Okay, this is creatine phosphokinase. Okay, ADP is converted to ATP. So creatine phosphokinase 1, 2, 3. So where are they present? Creatine phosphokinase 1 is present in, this is BB is indicating brain, MB is indicating like these are the subunits beta. MB is present in heart, MM is found in skeletal muscle. And of course, again, it will also have some different electrophoretic mobility in case if there is any damage either to brain, heart, or skeletal muscle. Okay, that's how isoenzymes are important clinically also. Okay, many like isoenzymes are discussed here. You can just elaborate too, as such you will not have so much time during your final exam 100 marks lengthy paper. So decide what to write, how much to write, practice so that you can do time management. Okay, beta.
Yes, ma'am.
Inhibitors of respiratory essential fatty acids. Okay. So you were telling 117.
No, 170.
117, right, beta?
No, no, 170. 170.
That was for lactate dehydrogenase.
No, 170 is for lactose intolerance, ma'am.
Ah, sorry. For lactose intolerance.
Yes, ma'am.
117, right, beta?
No, ma'am, 170.
170, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Achha. Yes. Lactose intolerance. Milk is not digested, right, beta? Lactose intolerance.
Yes, ma'am. The lactase enzyme is not present.
So milk formulas has to be given where lactose is not containing. We have certain milk formulas, powders. Can you please read out for us, beta?
Okay, ma'am. It is the most common disorder of
Ma'am, it's on
carbohydrate.
page 169.
Yeah. I got it, beta. See, I'm on the
Okay,
page.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, lactase, as Imad was telling, a deficiency of enzyme lactase is causing lactose intolerance. We find, of course, in newborn babies only, because there you will see the baby will not be able to digest the milk. So it is identified because the baby cries because of flatulence, loose motion, so many clinical problems where milk is not digested. So in such condition, generally we have to go with milk formulas. Okay, that means we have milk powders, formulas are there where we have preparation of milk powder where lactose is not present. Okay, estimation of lactose from the diet, that means severe restriction of milk and dairy products we have to check in the milk. Okay, though in adults also we may have such problems, like if such problems are there, generally people will suffer with flatulence. Okay, beta, so that is
Okay, ma'am.
lactose intolerance. HMP pathway. Before we open the page, can anybody tell me quickly what is the importance?
Yes, ma'am. It is for NADPH and pentose
Excellent.
synthesis.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah. Ritika, can you tell me page number, beta? Pentose formation, right? You mean to say?
Yes, ma'am. Pentoses.
Yeah, it helps in the formation of pentoses. Okay, because we are here, beta, there is one question. Now, before I project the answer, can you tell me what are the inhibitors of electron transport chain?
Yes, ma'am.
Inhibitors of electron transport chain.
Inhibitors, antimycin, and
Very-
British anti-lewisite.
Very good. Now see here, first of all, I like just 3 days back, I told you about electron transport chain in detail, right? So because it
Yes,
has
ma'am.
come for 5 marks question, you just if you write inhibitors, the answer will not be impressive beta, and you make a fast like put this cycle first, give 5 points of your
Okay.
elaboration, and you just write like at enzyme complex level 1, you if you give these drugs like amytal, rotenone, pyricidin, we can stop the synthesis of ATP at enzyme complex 1. For it, then enzyme complex 3 and 4, if you give these drugs respectively, antimycin, British anti-leviside cyanide, carbon monoxide, sodium azoid, we can stop the synthesis of ATP 2 and 3. So this is about inhibitors of electron transport chain. Okay. Yes, beta. Can you hear me, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. Okay. Now, can you tell me where is that pentose phosphate? Yeah, I'm in the chapter. Okay. Before glycogenesis lysis, I guess, HMP shunt. Citric acid. Citric acid. So shunt in the sense, basically the glucose is, yeah, glucose is like broken down by the process of glycolysis, but it is now taking a different route. Okay, bypass way to produce something which is important for our body, as you said, for formation of pentoses. Okay, that is HMP, hexose monophosphate shunt, also called as pentose phosphate pathway. Okay, alternative pathway to glycolysis, and also citric acid cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle. So he is now asking us, he's not asking the cycle, but he's asking us the significance. So as you said, it helps in the formation of NADPH. Now, why NADPH is required? So many reactions, whatever you study in biochemistry, no cycle is completed without the involvement of these oxidation and reduction reducing agents, NADPH, right? So biosynthesis of fatty acids, steroids, whatnot, you can write anything. It is used in the synthesis of certain amino acids, continuous production of hydrogen peroxide in the living cells, which can chemically damage our DNA, unsaturated lipids. So this, however, is prevented by antioxidation reaction involving NADPH. You can write so many functions better. Glutathione is also actually produced in the presence of NAD, NADPH. Okay, detoxification of drugs occurs in the presence of NADPH. Okay, engulfing of bacteria by leukocytes also occurs in the presence of NADPH, that is phagocytosis. Then cell membrane of RBC is maintained stable and it is not ruptured because of the activity of NADPH. Okay, that
Okay,
is
ma'am.
importance of NADPH. Apart from this importance of NADPH, you have to talk about formation of pentoses, then NADPH. Pentoses, what are the pentoses we have? Which are formed,
Nucleotides and nucleic acids.
yeah, very good. Nucleic acids like RNA, DNA, and nucleotides like ATP, NAD, FAD, and coenzyme A. Okay, so that is about pentose phosphate pathway. Beta. Then jaundice.
Jaundice already we've discussed, ma'am, I think.
Yeah,
Hemolytic,
recently we
hepatic,
discussed.
obstructive jaundice. All
Ritika,
three
do you
types.
remember, beta? Pre-hepatic, hepatic, and post-hepatic. Ritika, please speak out.
Yes, ma'am.
Ha. Pre-hepatic is hemolytic, where the RBCs are broken down before the completion of lifespan of 120 days. For example, we see in sickle cell anemia. Hepatic is liver derangement. It may be fatty liver, or it may be hepatitis, or it may be cirrhosis, or anything. Alcoholic hepatitis. So their liver is unable to handle bilirubin and biliverdin pigments. That is hepatic jaundice. Post-hepatic in the sense there is some obstruction in extrahepatic biliary apparatus. That is in the gallbladder or in the common bile duct or in the cystic duct, there may be either stone or cancer, because of which the bile juice is unable to enter into the duodenum. These are the three causes for prehepatic, hepatic, and post-hepatic jaundice. Okay? Yes, Ritika?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh.
Yes, ma'am.
So for which we generally use Vandenberg's test, right? For prehepatic jaundice, you will see the test will be indirect positive. If you add alcohol into the serum, after addition of Vandenberg's reagent, you will see purple color appears. Okay. In case of hepatic jaundice, you will see direct purple it will be. That means into the serum, if you add Vandenberg's, immediately purple. Whereas in post-hepatic, it is purple, but if you add alcohol, the color intensifies, darkens. That means it has both conjugated and unconjugated bilirubins. Okay, that's all about jaundice, which we have already discussed. I hope that is all right, Ritika.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. So essential fatty acids, can you name them? Linoleic acid, linolenic acid, and arachidonic acid, beta.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, these are essential fatty acids. So what is the importance of essential fatty acids? See, whatever sunflower oil, safflower oil, whatever vegetable oils we use for cooking, generally we check for the presence of these unsaturated fats. Okay, they should contain linoleic, linolenic, and arachidonic. These are called as good cholesterol because they do not let the deposition of cholesterol plagues in the blood vessels. That means this cholesterol, that means these essential fatty acids will prevent atherosclerosis and arteriosclerosis in long run. Okay.
Okay,
Atherosclerosis,
ma'am.
arteriosclerosis, which may lead to heart disease, is prevented by the use of this. Okay, beta?
Okay, ma'am.
Checking where it has been given. But that is the answer, beta. Anyhow, it's a 2 marker only, 3 marks in the sense. You should name them and write the importance. Okay. Polysaccharides. What are polysaccharides?
Ma'am, it's on page 31.
31. Read out, beta. Can you please read out the functions? Essential fatty acids.
Ma'am, essential fatty acids.
Yeah. Linoleic, linolenic, arachidonic.
Yes, ma'am. It's given here.
Ha.
Required for membrane structure and function, cholesterol transport,
Ha.
prevention of fatty liver, formation of lipoproteins.
Okay, fine. Very good. Any more?
Also, for synthesis of eicosanoids.
Functions of essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids are required for the. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Okay, then shall we move to next answer?
Okay, ma'am.
Huh. What are polysaccharides? That means it has more number of monosaccharides, glucose units, isn't it? So polysaccharides, we have homopolysaccharides and heteropolysaccharides. No, see, just 2 marker, beta. Poly or monosaccharide units are many in number. They are usually tasteless non-sugars. Okay, homo we have, hetero we have. Homopolysaccharides are, what are homopolysaccharides?
Starch,
Starch and
glycogen.
glycogen. Okay, starch we find in plants and glycogen we find in animals. It is all homo means same full glucose molecules. Glucan it is called as, isn't it? Heteropolysaccharides in the sense we have different monosaccharides. We may also have protein component. We may also have fat component, something like that. Under which we have glycosaminoglycans, heteropolysaccharides, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Under heteropolysaccharides, you can just give those names, beta.
There is